Today on the Autism Channel World News, a look at the upcoming Autism Society Convention in Denver. The Cobb County School District decides what to do with the trash can teacher. A man who beat an autistic teenager at a Florida party a year ago found guilty. The daughter of the founders of Autism Speaks attacks that organization's treatment network in a critical blog piece. And the California mandatory vaccine bill signed by Governor Brown may not become law without a statewide vote. I'm Nancy Quinones and Carl Nubile and Tim Yancey, and this is the Autism Channel World News for Saturday, July 4th, 2015. The Autism Society of America's annual convention starts this upcoming week in Denver. Dan Highline of our show I Am Autistic will be there. And Carl Nubile has some advance information about what's on the agenda.
If you've seen the biopic in which Claire Danes portrays Temple Grandin, you'll remember the amazing scene where she stands up at a convention about autism and speaks as a person on the spectrum. That convention, as depicted in the movie, was actually the granddaddy of autism conclaves, the Autism Society National Conference. Now, next week, the Autism Society is holding its 46th annual convention, celebrating 50 years since it was founded. This year, Temple Grandin is speaking from the stage, not the audience, and will deliver one of the closing keynotes. The Autism Society was founded by Dr. Bernard Rimland, who also founded the Autism Research Institute. Dr. Rimland changed the perception of what autism is. Before his book, the experts like Leo Connor said autism was a psychological disorder caused by improper parenting, often blamed on a cold and distant mother. Connor even coined the term refrigerator mother. But Rimland knew differently because his son was on the spectrum and he knew their parenting wasn't distant, cold, or flawed. Dr. Stephen Edelson is the current executive director of the Autism Research Institute, that early research organization founded by Rimland, and he joins us now and picks up the story.
He and his wife brought their son Mark to many pediatricians, and no one had any idea what was going on. They often told them just to that he'll grow out of it, or that maybe they're imagining some of his symptoms, like not sleeping very much. He had just received his PhD in psychology. He understood the research literature, and he read pretty much every article and book ever written on autism back in the late 50s and early 60s. And it was quite clear that everyone was blaming him and his wife for causing autism, and he knew that wasn't true. And so he wound up working on a paper turned into a book, and it was published in 1964, and it really changed the entire direction of the field.
So the Autism Society National Conference and its evolution over the years is also the story of the modern view of autism and its recent affinity to celebrate self-advocacy. A part of that is a milestone that Dr. Rimland, who died in 2006, would have loved to see.
On Friday at the conference, Friday morning's keynote, it's in honor of Dr. Rimland, and the title of the keynote is Neuropathology and Sensation of Autism. And what's going to be, I think, a lot of fun and somewhat historical, Mark Rimland, who inspired his father to dedicate almost 50 years of his life to autism, he and I will first give, and then we'll introduce speakers.
We thank Dr. Edelson for joining us. We'll be at that conference as well. Well, not me personally. I'll be here at the studio reporting on research and science. But Dan Highline of I Am Autistic and Jeff Caskey of Spectrum at Law will both be at the show. And you can find them at our booth, booth 308, on the convention floor.
Last week, we reported on Mary Catherine Persley. She's the Cobb County, Georgia teacher who lowered an autistic child into a trash can. Her attorney said she was trying to use the Sesame Street character, Oscar the Grouch, to calm him. The Cobb County School Board held a hearing a week ago Monday and later made their decision. The teacher has, shall we say, been canned. The determination is that her behavior was inappropriate physical contact. Her attorney disagrees and says she should not have been terminated. She still faces criminal charges. A year ago, the video of Andrew Wheeler beating an autistic teenager in Okeechobee, Florida, went viral on social media. This week, Wheeler was convicted of aggravated child abuse. He faces a maximum of 30 years in prison. When we return, Tim Yancey joins us with the story of an article critical of the Autism Treatment Network run by Autism Speaks. But it's not the criticism that's surprising, it's the critic. Stay with us, we'll be right back. This is the Autism Channel World News. I'm Nancy Quinones.
What does this do? Electrocute you?
Don't be ridiculous. It's a hand grenade.
Shut up. That is sick.
So to see Kingsman and complete your mission, you must grab your family, your friends, your neighbors, the homeless guy on the street by the supermarket, and your dog.
Even your cat, your rabbit, and your goldfish if you're desperate.
And what about them? What makes them so special?
Put it back.
If you're coming to the beautiful Mile High City, Denver, to attend the Autism Society's annual conference and exhibition, be sure to visit the Autism Channel. Stop by the exhibition hall at booth 308 and meet the host of I Am Autistic, Daniel Heinlein. You can also meet the host of Spectrum at Law, Jeff Caskey. We know they both want to meet you. Remember booth number 308. Write it down somewhere right now while you're thinking about it. Booth 308.
Tim Yancey joins us with the story of what apparently is a difference of opinion in the family that founded Autism Speaks over the way it spends its money.
Bob and Suzanne Wright founded Autism Speaks in 2005, shortly after their grandson was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder in 2004. It has quickly risen to be the best-funded autism organization in the world. Its detractors argue that it is one of the most controversial autism organizations in the world, for a number of reasons. One is that it historically has funneled the majority of its money into autism research, leaving little for the support of parents and people with autism. One big reason for this is that in 2006, Autism Speaks merged with Cure Autism Now. Cure Autism Now has developed the Autism Treatment Network, which is a network of hospitals and doctors focused on treating autism. This was going to be the treatment arm of the newly merged organizations. But then Congress passed the Combating Autism Act in 2006 and then passed it again in 2011. Under that legislation, at least $24 million went to Autism Treatment Network sites for research, which was a different mission than helping families with treatment. This week, the Autism Treatment Network came under criticism for its departure from treatment. That criticism came in an article published by the Age of Autism website, which reads in part, ATN is supposed to address gap areas of treatment instead of conducting superfluous research. Even the nature of its research is attacked. To quote, "We have such a relatively small amount of federal money for autism research, we cannot afford to waste it on incremental and unambitious science." But what is noteworthy about the attack is that it comes from the daughter of Bob and Suzanne Wright, the founders of Autism Speaks. It's written by Katie Wright, the mother of the child whose diagnosis spawned the whole Autism Speaks endeavor. It underscores the tremendous disagreement in the community about where and how these resources should be applied when even one of the most famous families in autism can't come to a common consensus. We contacted Autism Speaks to allow them to respond to the charges. They sent us a general fact sheet about the organization that did not mention the Katie Wright article or directly address any of its charges.
Finally, California has a new law that changes vaccination requirements for children seeking admission to public or private schools. Any school in California that offers classroom instruction is affected. This new law eliminates the exemption based on personal beliefs, but strengthens and further defines what is required for a medical exemption. The implementation takes place in stages, and the first group of children wouldn't be affected until July of next year. But already 2 groups are planning to challenge the law in court. But what may stop the law before it can have any effect is an action this week by former California Assemblyman Tim Donnelly. He has filed paperwork to place a referendum on the 2016 general election ballot to stop it. He told the Autism Channel World News that if he can collect the 365,000 plus signatures in 180 days, it will injunct the new law, and that new law won't become the effective law unless the voters approve it. Dr. Richard Pan is the sponsor of the vaccine requirements. He welcomes the challenge. He points to the polls that show that the vast majority of California voters favor mandating vaccination. That's the Autism Channel World News for Saturday. For our news team and everyone at the Autism Channel, join us again as we continue to unlock the wonders of autism. See you next time. I'm Nancy Quinones.
"24/7 worldwide. We are all autism, all the time. Thank you for watching the Autism Channel.